How much time do you spend focusing on yourself and the things that are lacking or need to change or to improve? How much time do you spend trying to fix your life? As a Christian, I ask myself, how much should I be focusing on myself, and to what degree am I really responsible for fixing myself? One day, I want to be able to give a good account for my life and for the way I've lived. I want to leave a really strong legacy, but I know I don't always manage things well. I struggle to understand where the balance lies and how much I'm accountable for who, what, and where I am as a person in this life. Whilst I don't have all the answers, a couple of months ago I had an experience that I felt brought some balance to my thinking. I think you could say that it just really simplified things for me. So a while ago we bought a house on a reasonable size piece of land. It has lots of trees of lots of varieties, but we knew when we bought the place that they'd been really neglected and would need some considerable attention. Some were dead or dying, there were obvious signs of disease, and some just didn't seem to be thriving. So we arranged for a really highly qualified arborist or tree specialist to help us to make the right decisions. Although I knew I'd be receiving a detailed report, I really looked forward to the process because I'd be able to accompany him and I could ask lots of questions. So we began the whole exercise under a beautiful big elm tree out the front of our house, and we spent about half an hour walking around this tree while he pointed out issues that had all led to a type of infestation by an elm beetle. He showed me places where branches were growing poorly and rubbing against each other, where they were weakening limbs. This, he explained, would be why random branches would drop. He showed me places where the tree was struggling to repair the damage from fallen limbs and also from the beetles who'd bored their way through the bark. We looked along branches to identify how many spots this had occurred along a branch, just so we could understand the integrity of the bark and whether it had been compromised. And he explained that the tree was weak and an easy target for the elm beetles, and though it was trying its best, it simply could not deal with the stresses for long. It seemed like there were so many problems, and I wondered, how are we ever going to go about fixing them all? So I asked, well, what can we do to get the tree back on track as quickly as possible? I imagined he'd look at the tree and quickly suggest some good pruning, some sort of chemical injection into the tree to just treat the elm beetles and the disease, and also some good fertilizer. It seemed like a quick and simple solution, but unfortunately this was not to be. The problem, he repeatedly emphasized, was not in the tree in itself, but it was in the soil and in the environment it was growing in. He explained that if a tree is growing in poor soil or in crowded places, it produces fewer leaves. Then it's less capable of protecting itself from the sun and also of producing food. He said it becomes weak and less able to manage stresses in its environment, and in this weakened state it becomes prone to disease and infestation by pests. The only way you can fix this tree is to fix the soil, he said, and you need to do that by maintaining a really good layer of organic mulch and by watering it regularly. You can't change where it's planted, but you can provide the tree with all it needs to become stronger, and when it does that, it'll be able to deal with the stresses, to resist the diseases, and then it'll be able to begin to recover. Though I could see wisdom in what he was saying, I'm a product of the modern world, and I thought, well, that's going to take a while. Surely there must be a way we can, speed things up a little bit. So I asked him, well, look, if we need to get water into this, down to the roots really well, what if we sank some pipes down into the soil so that we could water directly to the roots? No, he said, the best way is to follow the way trees were designed to grow. Water needs to fall on the top of the soil and soak down, and then it'll take nutrients down with it. Okay, fair enough, I thought. But what about mulch? You said the soil's hard. Should we dig the mulch in to help soften the soil and break it down? No, he said, the best way is to just spread mulch over the top and let it slowly do its work. Then it'll break down and it'll soak nutrients into the soil, just like it would in, say, a forest where leaf settles on the surface and it breaks down and nourishes the soil. What about fertilizers? Surely they'd be a great help. No, he said, rarely are fertilizers helpful in the long term. They fool the tree and trigger rapid growth that's unnatural. The rapid growth produces unnaturally large cells, and each of these tend to have thinner than normal cell walls, which in the end makes them more prone to disease and much easier for pests to attack. I'd run out of brilliant quick fix ideas when he said, "There is no quick fix. Think of it this way. You have one job and only one job. Maintain the soil. Keep it well fed and well watered. Unhealthy trees will begin to recover and new trees will grow strong." I have only one job. It really hit me when I heard that, and I thought, this resonates well with me in my own life. I thought, I'm a lot like that elm tree. I face many stresses. I've been attacked by various pests. But instead of focusing on fixing the soil I'm planted in, I walk around looking up at my branches and I notice parts of my life that aren't growing well, the flaws and imperfections, things that seem to be dying, things that are attacking me. I spend all of my time fighting those things and trying to fix them. But instead, I should remember that I need to make sure I'm planted in good soil, and I need to focus on keeping that soil healthy and strong by feeding it and watering it. If I could remember to consistently read the Bible and spend time in prayer, then I would grow strong and I would be able to withstand attacks and deal with the stresses that come my way. So I want to end by asking you, are you focusing on yourself and fixing yourself, or are you focusing on the right things? You have one job. Fix the soil that you're planted in. I hope this is an encouragement to you, and that it encourages you to just get right into the Word and begin to grow strong in your own life.